Some relationship advice on YouTube isn't just failing to help you, some of it is actively making things worse. I'm not talking about the obviously toxic stuff. I'm talking about the content that sounds reasonable. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly why and what actually works instead. People I work with are quite intelligent. They're not naive. They've done the research. They're high achieving, switched on. Often they have the language for what is going wrong. Maybe they've read books. Maybe they've watched a bunch of videos. They can talk about attachment styles, self-sabotage, emotional unavailability. And yet they're still stuck. Same patterns, same outcomes, same frustration. Even if everything looks great on the outside, there's a lot of discomfort and really suffering on the inside. And the problem isn't effort or awareness. It's that they've been working at the wrong level. Here's the thing that people in the space often don't want to say. Knowing about your patterns is not the same as changing them. Relationship patterns don't live in the conscious mind. They live in the subconscious, in emotional memory, in the nervous system. Content works more so at the conscious level where it informs, explains, names things. But the patterns that you're running keep running underneath all of that, completely unaffected. For example, you can know exactly why you're pulling away and still pull away. You can understand your avoidance and still come across as avoidant. You can fully understand your anxiety and still come across or behave in ways and patterns that are anxious. It's kind of like watching someone else swim and thinking that means you can swim. The knowledge and the embodied experience are completely different things. Knowledge is actually, I would say, the precursor. Then it's awareness, knowing how the knowledge applies to you, but it's not the last one. And most content stops there. Sometimes it moves people actively in the wrong direction. There's three distinct ways that it can do this. First is giving you a label, which becomes an identity. If you watch enough videos about anxious attachment and you see yourself in it, it's easy to start to believe that that's just who you are. Not a pattern you can change, but a fixed identity. I want to be clear, attachment styles aren't the problem. They can be really helpful for awareness, for understanding. But the subconscious mental models, beliefs, emotions underneath that style is the true root cause and the thing that actually gets to shift to truly shift that pattern. So labeling yourself can feel like progress, but it could also become the ceiling. The second thing is it can remove your agency by misplacing the blame. So what do I mean by that? A lot of content says, it's not your fault, it's everyone else's fault. And to be clear, it's not your fault. But it's not everybody else's fault either. Usually the reason our patterns are happening the way they are is because of experiences that we did not choose for ourselves, that yes, happened to us. But in today's present day, as an adult, and I only work with adults, the people around you are not at fault for the things that happened to you in the past that are bleeding into the present. Especially I see this in the relationship space where the content's like, it's not your fault. Here's everything wrong with the people you date. Sure, that can feel validating, that could feel good in its own way, but it also leaves you completely powerless because you can't control other people. The only place change is truly available is inside yourself. Content that takes responsibility off you and places it onto others is actually disempowering, even if it subtly feels validating. And then number 3 is advice that treats tactics as solutions. When I say tactics, I mean things like don't say this, say that. Do this on a first day. Text like this. On the surface, they can totally work. Sure, maybe they get you that one date, or maybe they get you a few dates, or maybe they have that interaction work, but they don't change the patterns at all. They often create a performance rather than a real connection. It means that people get stuck doing the tactics, the behaviors that are getting results in a certain way, but the cost is the true connection, the true love, the true care that they actually want, which can't be a performance. It has to be real coming from them. The men I work with don't need better scripts. In fact, often they're quite good at knowing what to say or what to do or what strategy to play out. What they really, truly want help with is understanding and then transforming the patterns underneath, the things that are not consciously obvious. If most content isn't enough, what is. You can think of content as a map, and a map is useful, but you still have to walk the territory. What actually moves the pattern is working at the level where the pattern lives. If there is emotional memories, which almost always they are, you want to work at the emotional level. If there is subconscious material, things that we don't realize are impacting the present day, but are, we need to work with the subconscious. If there are things in the body somatically that are happening, you can't think into that. You actually want to work with the body. This all means inner work that accesses what's underneath the story, not just names it. It means real relational containers, whether that's a practitioner or a group, something where you're genuinely being witnessed, ideally, something that helps you get in touch with deeper levels of yourself. Personalized guidance really helps because what's true for the room is not always what's true for you. So if nothing has shifted in your relationships, despite consuming a lot of content, that's useful information, something to consider. And it's useful to consider whether you're working at the wrong level. If you've been watching content about relationships for a while and still feel stuck, the pattern finder prompt is a good place to start. It's not more information. It's set up so that it's a mirror. It'll show you specific patterns running underneath your relationships so you can start to begin to work with what is hard to see for ourselves. The link is in the description. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.